This is Mariah. She's my dance and movement therapist. Mariah was a really safe person for me from the get-go. And the things that we did, it was with a group. It wasn't, there were some things that we paired off and did, but it was okay for me to take a break and sit down when I couldn't do it. And there was part of me that was sad that there were some things that I couldn't do. What I was able to pinpoint was how problematic my life is relative to the 20 plus knee surgeries that I've had. So, I kind of observed the situation and got a feel for it. And then I'm like, well, this could be an interesting new therapy for me. And, so I called Mariah and we talked about it. I knew I had to do things differently than I had been doing things because they weren't working. I spent a lot of time disconnected specifically to my left knee. Yeah, that's really critical for me in that, being disconnected from my body. And I've had more connection lately with it, and holding a lot of things in my shoulders, but a big weight has always been on my chest. And, having that ability to say, okay, this is going on, what does it feel like? And then what does it translate into as far as movement goes? And, being part of the catalyst for, what a session will look like. Even being aware of my body and looking at the kind of space that I functioned in, whether it was a small, medium, or large space, and discovering that I've really functioned in a small space for many years now, and then realizing that when I had manic episodes, I was really in this large space, not having boundaries for myself, getting into people's faces. It wasn't just conceptually this thought or the life in the small space, but it was the choice of where I went. And there's actually a pole holding up, a beam holding up the ceiling in this room, and that's my spot. Yeah. And there's a part of the floor that's uneven, and that's my other spot. And for whatever reason, they're safe spots for me, and I'm challenged physically of what I can do. So, the pole provides some reprieve for me.
And my job is to help you connect those to the greater picture of what's going on emotionally, or to take those physical experiences that you're already having and kind of bring them into the light, so then we can explore them a little bit and maybe take them further, maybe think about, well, what would happen if you did take the small space your body was in and if you made it into a really big space? Or what would happen if we took what we were doing, this drumming that we're doing, and if we really intensified it? And then kind of this play back and forth of the physical and emotional response that comes from moving your body in a new way.
The work is really trauma work, and talking about that it's going to be a slow process, and there's a lot of things. And even though my intent is like, well, what's going on with my leg and how is my life impacted, but I can't disconnect from the other things that are going on. It's who I am. It's all encompassing. Mariah's sensitivity and respect of my process is so critical. That really is the foundation of where things begin.